Okay. Alright, that's better. How's everyone doing tonight? We are continuing our playthrough of Fate Stay Night Remastered. Last we left off, Shirou has been training under Saber and Reen. He should Saber's just been beating him until until he learns to use his reflexes better, and Reen has been teaching him that everything that he knows about magecraft thus far is wrong. So let's continue. I'm dreaming. It must be because my blood is feverish and my entire body is throbbing. Something I'd rather not have to remember plays out in my dream. This is my oldest memory. It's also a memory I can't escape. It's a scene from 10 years ago, and one I usually try not to think back on. I can't ever erase it from my memory, though. It's not that I forgot. It's not even that I want to forget. It's just that it's already happened. So it's not especially painful. And I don't really feel all that angry about it either. The past is the past. I can't return to it. I can't redo it. All that happened is that I escaped and lived on. Looking forward is all I can do. Nobody told me to do that. But I've thought about that, even if just vaguely, since I was a kid. I can't forget or deny the past. The only way to keep the memory of what we've lost alive is to acknowledge it. It's hot. I wake up to find my body still burning up. I must have wound up falling asleep out in the cold air last night. Inside this dimly lit shed with me and... Saber?
目が覚めましたか、シロー。部屋を抜け出すのは構いませんが、ここで眠るのはだらしがないのではありませんか。
Oh, morning. Well, I was burning up last night, and I went outside. And when I went outside, I got sleepy.
見ればわかります。説明はいいですから、次からは気をつけてください。マスターにこのような場所で休息を取られては、私の立場がありませんから。
Sorry. I'll try to sleep in my own room next time.
分かっていただければ助かります。ところでシロー、先ほどからタイガが呼んでいるのですが。
Fujine? What's she want?
朝食の問題ではないでしょうか。朝食の時間はとうに過ぎていますから。
Huh? What? It's already past 7? Oh, crap! I overslept!
そうですね。シローが最後に起きるのは珍しい。よほど昨夜のリンとの鍛錬が答えたのでしょう。
Saber provides a calm analysis of the situation, but I don't have time for idle chit-chat. I know you went out of your way to wake me up, but go on back ahead of me. I'll hurry up and get changed, and then head to the kitchen.
はい。それでは、できる限りタイガを眺めているとしましょう。
Saber turns around and heads back to the house. Calm Fujine? Saber sure has adapted well to our morning routine. I dash to the kitchen. I ignore Fujine's jeers and prepare breakfast as quickly as I can. Sorry to keep you waiting. There's not much time before school starts, so hurry up and eat. I plop breakfast on the table.
No!
Suddenly... Fujine explodes, practically spitting fire.
何これ？焼いたトーストだけじゃない。シロー、なんで今日の朝ごはんこれだけなのよ。
Hey, I overslept. I don't have time to make anything else, and a breakfast with toast is typically just that. It's just missing salad and eggs, so there's not a huge difference.
大差なんてあります。ね、みんなもそう思うでしょ
？Fujine tries to appeal to Saber and Tosoka, who both eat in silence. This isn't going to go in her favor. Neither of them is as gluttonous as Fujine. She's barking up the wrong tree.
そうね。藤村先生じゃないけど、
こんな手抜きは容認できないかな。パン食を舐めてるとしか思えないわ。
Hey, wait a minute. I thought she didn't eat breakfast to begin with. Now why is she sounding all disappointed? That's way out of character.
ほら、みんなシロウが悪いって。多数決で決定したから反省した後、ちゃんとした朝ごはんを提供すること。
That's so unfair. Besides, if I start making a dish now, you're going to be late, Fujine. It's already 7:30, so you need to so you need to do the whole running out of your house with a piece of toast hanging out of your mouth thing. Give it up.
いいよ。私、遅刻か空腹かの選択なら朝ごはんを尊重するから。
That's nuts. What kind of teacher even are you? Just eat your toast and go to school. I absolutely refuse to make anything else, even if it kills me.
もう、シロウったら変なところで真面目なんだから。そんなじじくさいこと言ってるとすぐおじいさんになっちゃうんだからね。
You don't need to remind me. Thanks to you, I'm practically an old man already. I huff and take a bite of toast. Okay, she might be right. There is something kind of sad about there being so many people here and then only having toast for breakfast. The sounds of clashing shinai echo through the dojo. Each bout goes essentially the same as they had the days before. Saber casually sweeps my desperate strikes aside and counterattacks far more effectively. I barely manage to block and continually strike back, only for Saber to repose, and I lose. Every time. I stop, breathing heavily, shoulders heaving. Wiping sweat from my brow, I work to get my breathing under control.
何を休んでいるのですか。昨日までのシロならそこで諦めるようなことはなかったはずです。さあ、早く打ち込んできてください。
Hold on. I need to catch my breath. A little break, please.
何をらしくないことを。シロが来ないというのでしたら、私から攻め込むだけですが、それでも構わないのですね。
Saber stares down at her poor student. My body just won't listen, no matter how she looks at me.
はあ、一体どうしたのです、シロ。今朝のあなたは今までとは別人のようです。まっすぐに打ち込んでくる太刀だけは目を見張るものがあったというのに、今朝のシロには力強さを感じません。
I know that, I really do. I just can't do almost anything today. My situation has drastically changed since yesterday.
体の熱がまだ取れないのですか。ですが、そんな理由で体のキレが落ちるようでは話になりません。少し頭を冷やして気持ちを入れ替えてください。
Well, before I do that, can you do something about that first? I point toward our audience, standing by the wall.
何？私に構わなくていいから訓練を続けていいわよ。
Tosaka doesn't get it. I can't concentrate on fighting Saber with her staring at me like that.
リンが気になるのですか。それこそ修行不足ですね。いいでしょう。それでしたら見学者のことなど気にならないようにして差し上げます。
Whoa, hold up, Saber. I still haven't caught my breath.
問題はありません。そのようなものは戦いの最中に整えるものです。
Saber suddenly vanishes. The moment I realize I'm in danger and raise my shinai to guard my face, Saber strikes me right on the head. It was a rough morning. After getting knocked out, I stopped worrying about Tosaka watching. My focus went entirely onto blocking Saber's attacks, and the next thing I knew, it was lunchtime.
けどあれよね。セイバーって本当に冷静よね。3時間もシロウと試合してて眉一つ動かさないんだから。普段も無口だけど戦闘時はさらに磨きがかかるっていうか、何？もう無機質みたいな感じ？
I'm not sure if it's because she enjoyed enjoyed seeing me getting knocked around. I'm not sure if it's because she enjoyed seeing me getting knocked around, but Tosaka's in a good mood. The two are resting in the living room. As for me, I'm preparing lunch by myself as punishment for my lax approach to training this morning. Unbelievable. I want to just make something easy, like cold somen noodles.
無機質ですか。そうですね。そう意識したことはありませんが、剣を握っているときは感情を止めているのかもしれません。それは
何？それって女の身で剣を持つための心構えってやつ？体格で劣っているから心だけは負けないようにって。
それは違います、リン。冷静であるのは戦う時の心構えですが、それは男も女も変わりのないことでしょう。リンとて戦闘時には情を捨てるはずです。あなたはそれができる人ですから。
言ってくれるじゃない。まあそりゃあ事実だけどさ。けどセイバーのは私とは違うわよ、絶対。私は捨ててるのは甘さだけだもの。あなたほど達観はできないわ。
そのようですね。だからあなたは華やかなのでしょう。戦いの中でも女性のしなやかさを保っていられる。
何よ、嫌味？華やかさで言ったらあなたにはかなわないわ。シローがあっちにいるから白状するけどね、私初めてあなたを見た瞬間にすっごい美人だなって見とれたんだから。
I can hear you, Tosaka.
それはリンの思い違いでしょう。好みが華やかに見えたのなら、それは私ではなくセイバーというクラスが華やかなだけではないでしょうか。
そんなんじゃないってば。純粋にね、同じ女として負けたって思ったんだもの。そうでもなければあそこまでショックは受けなかったわよ。
ですからそれが間違いです。私は一度も自身を女性だと思ったことはないし、一度も女性として扱われたことはありません。その私が華やかであるはずがない。
Saber's word bring the conversation to an end. As I listen in, kitchen knife in hand, I find myself getting irritated by what Saber's saying. I've always wondered, what does she think she is? I chop the chicken a bit harder than I need to. For some reason, I'm annoyed.
私は自分を女性だと思ったことはありません。
Not that it has anything to do with me. I slam my knife down onto the cutting board as if it were a hammer. It doesn't help me feel any better.
今日の課題はそれね。
So we're going straight into training with Rin? I don't get to ask about getting a cool, getting an ultimate technique from Saber?
昨日より数は増やしたし、そっちの体も落ち着いてるみたいだから、今度こそ成功するでしょ。
I have no idea how she carried them here, but Tosaka reveals about 40 lamps.
私はちょっと外に出てるわ。しばらく経ったら戻ってくるから、それまでに終わらせておきなさい。
Tosaka leaves her room. All right. It's only been a night, but I hope I can succeed at least a couple times. Phew, I think I got half done. I took an hour to work on strengthening about 20 lamps. Half of them shattered, and nothing at all happens to the other half. Of those that didn't change, maybe 5 looked like they had been infused with magical energy. Now for the remaining 20. Hold on. Wouldn't 5 be enough for a test? All the lamps look to be antiques. I'd feel bad about breaking more of them. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna wait. Yeah, I'm just gonna wait patiently. I'll just wait here quietly. Tosaka must have gone out for a reason, and I just have to do the assignment I was given. Yeah, given what happened yesterday, I'll need to succeed as many times as I can today. I face the lamps with renewed spirit. There are 20 left. I should go through them before Tosaka comes back. It's 2 o'clock. There's no sign of Tosaka returning, so I just focus on finishing my assignment. Oh, the phone's ringing. The ringing just reaches my ears from elsewhere in the house. It's in the living room. Tosaka can... No, she won't dare pick up a phone in someone else's house. I doubt it's an important phone call, but I shouldn't ignore it. I stand up, head to the living room to answer the phone. There's nobody in the living room. Saber and Tosaka must be in the courtyard. Hello, Emiya residents.
Yo, Emiya. 今日も休んでいるようだけど、体の調子が悪いのかい?
All of a sudden, Shinji's voice sounds from the other end of the line, heavy with barely restrained laughter. Is that you, Shinji? What do you want? I don't think we have anything to talk about.
なんだよ、釣れないな。こっちはエミヤに一つ教えてやろうと思って電話をしたのに。
Tell me something?
ああ、どうしても話しておきたいことがあったんだけど、お前、学校に来ないじゃないか。これ以上長引くのもなんだし、もう我慢できないから連絡を入れたんだ。それで、そっちに遠坂はいるのか?
Shinji sounds kind of odd. He seems weirdly excited. I can hear other students in the background, so he must still be at school. It's a little past 2. 5th period should be over, so I think it's break time right now.
おい、聞いてるんだよ、エミヤ。遠坂はそこにいるの？いないの？
Not right now. She just stepped away.
そうか。ちょうどいい。2人だけで話がしたかったんだ。いいこと教えてやるからさ。今から学校に来いよ、エミヤ。もちろん、遠坂には内緒でね。
I don't know how to respond to that. Shinji's acting weird, and we're already talking. I don't see any reason to go all the way to school, and if I take off without telling Tosaka, it'd feel like a betrayal. Sorry, but I can't go to school. If you have something for me, it'll have to wait until next week. I'll go back to school after the weekend.
はあ？何勝手なこと言ってんだよ、お前。それじゃ遅いんだよ。我慢できないって言ったじゃないか、今。
Shinji's yelling now. He must be really excited because I can hear his heavy breathing over the phone.
少しは考えてるじゃないか。そうだよね。さすがに今更一人でやってくるわけがないか。どう見ても怪しいもんな、この電話。エミヤでもやばいって感じたわけだ。
His tone shifts entirely, and he even starts laughing. Hold on a minute. Calm down. You're acting real strange, Shinji. I don't know what happened, but...
嘘をつくなよ、エミヤ。遠坂のことだ。お前に全部話したんだろ？いいよ、隠さなくて。そうだよね。エミヤはセイバーのマスターだもの。僕よりずっと一発な人殺しってわけだ。
Shinji seems to be enjoying himself. I've known him for about 5 years now, but I've never seen him so wound up. Shinji, are you...
いいから、学校で待ってるよ。急げよ、エミヤ。今からなら6次元目には間に合う。ちょうど藤村の授業だし、遅刻しても問題ないだろう。
Well, even Fujine would get mad if we were late for her class, and I might get even more of an earful if I only showed up for 6th period rather than just missing the whole day.
そんなのは自業自得じゃないか。ああ、それと、遠坂にバラしたら本当に絶交するからな。今まで桜のことは目をつむってやったんだ。最後ぐらいは 友人として義理を果たしてもいいだろう。
Our conversation ends there. All I hear is the buzzing electronic tone from the receiver. What's with him? But what should I do? Tosaka would be in the house, but I don't see her anywhere. And if I go to school, I can't bring Saber. But then, if I don't do what Shinji asks, I'm worried what he might do. He's probably agitated because of that merciless rejection Tosaka gave him yesterday. If I ignore him, he might get violent with Sakura again. Well, it's still bright out, so it shouldn't be an issue. I should hurry now that I've made a decision. If I hurry, I should be able to make it by 6th period. There's nobody at the school gate. From the outside, it looks like the school is deserted since class is in session. Maybe there's no physical education class either, since there's nobody in the courtyard either. Well, that's going to change in a few minutes. When 6th period's over, school's out. The campus and exits will be overflowing with people on their way out. I head up to the 3rd floor. There's nobody in the hallway either. Everyone must be in their classrooms, so I feel a little awkward walking into Class C. Well, it's not like I'm going to be completely conspicuous, so I should hurry to the classroom. Class C is down the hall. Right now, I'm in front of Class H, which is the closest to the stairs, so there are 5 classrooms between me and my destination. Huh? A wave of dizziness slams into me. My entire body is also overcome with nausea. My stomach churns. My senses are going completely haywire. Red floods my vision, as if blood were seeping into my eyes. The temperature around me hasn't changed, but my body is suddenly unbearably hot. What is this? I stumble. Strength leaves my body. I feel like I'm withering, and I can't do anything to stop it. In the same way you can't stop sand from falling in an hourglass. I'm suffocating. My throat burns. Was all the air sucked out from this hallway? From the entire school? I sway and, by accident, stagger toward a window. Desperate for air, I jerk it open. What? Freeze. This is so unbelievable, I can't even find the wherewithal to get confused. Outside the window, the entire campus is a field of endless red. It looks like the school was carved out of the world and plunged into a sea of red. The school building looked like an altar, draped in a red canopy. And then finally, I realize what's happening. I move away from the window. I muster up what sense I have left and force my feet to move, heading into the classroom closest to me. Inside, not a single student is seated in any of the chairs. They're all lying on the floor. Even the teacher is on the floor behind the podium. They're still breathing. Everyone's convulsing as if pleading for help. Nobody's dead yet. The students don't have the strength to get up. They're just waiting to rot away. Seeing their miserable state on the floor, brings to mind the burning ruins from that day. The nausea intensifies, but I can still get a handle on the situation. I take a look at the students on the floor. It's difficult, but we can breathe. They're not dead. If I hurry and get help, there may be a chance to save them. But the moment I check the face of a student nearby, something clicks inside my head. Their skin. It's hard as wax. Not everyone is like this. It varies from person to person, but the most severely weakened student's blood seems to have coagulated around their joints. Oily and glistening, stiff, motionless arms, fixed, staring eyes, just like wax figures. I know this. I recognize this scene. This is just a nightmare. I know this site well. I said stop! All that's sustaining me now is anger that has completely eclipsed any fear. God! My left arm tingles. The command spell on the back of my hand is warning me that an enemy is nearby. I run, though my breathing is heavy and labored. I've long since lost my mind.
Yo, エミヤ。思ったより元気そうで何よりだ。どう？気に入ったかいこの思考は。
At the end of the hallway, Shinji Mato is standing in front of Class C. My arm throbs. My command spells are screaming at me, telling me the boy just ahead caused all of this. So this is all you're doing, Shinji? I can't breathe properly, but I glare at Shinji, who's keeping his distance. He must really like what he's seeing. Because the next thing I know, Shinji throws his arms wide and starts cackling in the blood-red hallway.
そうだとも。お前がやってきたのが分かったんでね。すぐに結界を発動させたんだ。タイミングには苦労したんだぜ。何しろあんまり早すぎると逃げられるし、遅すぎると顔を合わせるからさ。僕としちゃエミヤが顔面蒼白になるのを見たかったわけだし、単純に事を起こすのだけは避けたかったんだ。
So you were lying about having something to discuss?
話はこれからさ。僕とお前どちらが優れているか遠坂に思い知らせないといけないし、エミヤには嘘の謝罪をしないといけないからね。ほら、エミヤには黙ってたけど学校に結界を敷いたのは僕なんだ。
Shinji laughs like it's the funniest thing ever. I guess I've learned never to trust him.
あれ？思ったより驚かないな。なんだ。この結界は僕じゃないって言ったのに、エミヤは信じてくれなかったんだ。いいねいいね。お前でも人を信じないなんてことがあったわけだ。
Shinji's merry laughter pours into my skull like a drill. I have to point out, I'm bluntly surprised. I've just been bracing myself to learn who set up this bounded field, Shinji or the other master. That was all. But so much for my optimism. I should have settled things with Shinji the moment I learned he was a master. This is all my fault. Shinji, why did you do this? Were you lying about having no intention of fighting too?
いや、それは本当なんじゃない？僕だってこんなものを発動させる気はなかったんだ。これはあくまで交渉材料だったんだよ。爆弾を仕掛けておけば遠坂だっておいそれと僕を襲わなくなるし、万が一の切り札にもなるからね。
I see. But Tosaka said it would take a few days to activate the bounded field. Does that mean she miscalculated?
遠坂らしい意見だ。けどさ、結界は完成していないだけで形はとっくにできているんだぜ。単純に発動させる分には支障はないんだ。ま、おかげで効果は薄いけどね。この分じゃ一人殺すのにあと数分はかかるんじゃないかな。
Stop it. The nausea is long since gone. That one thing is all I can think to say to Shinji right now.
止めろ？何をだい？まさかこの結界を止めろだなんて言ってるんじゃないだろうな。一度起こしたものを止めるなんてそんなもったいないことできないな、僕は。
I said, stop it! Do you have any idea what you've done?
イラつくな。お前、何僕に命令してるわけ？大体さ、これは僕の力じゃないか。止めるかどうかを決められるのは僕だけだし、止めてほしかったら土下座くらいするのが筋ってもんじゃないの？まったく、藤村といいお前といい、自分の立場が分かってないな。
Hey, What about Fujine?
ねああ、藤村ね。この結界ができてからさ、あいつ結構動けたんだよ。他の連中がバタバタ倒れてるっていうのに一人でヨロヨロしてるんだぜ。でさ、倒れずにいた僕のところまでやってきて救急車を呼んでとか言ってきたんだ。すごいよね、教育者の鏡ってやつ。けどそんなもの呼ぶわけにはいかないし、呼ぶ気もないじゃない。藤村のやつ、それでもしがみついてくるもんだからうざくなってさ、蹴り飛ばしてやったらピクリとも動かねえでやんの。あの分じゃ真っ先に死んだんじゃねえのあいつ。
I feel a switch flipping inside me. Tosaka said something about pressing a switch in my head, but it's nothing like that. There's this echoing clang in my head. A firing hammer strikes inside my head, and the inside of my body suddenly switches over. This is your last warning. Stop the bounded field, Shinji. Wait, isn't this track in FGO as well? Like certain boss fights?
わからないやつだね。お前に頼まれれば頼まれるほど止めたくなんてなくなる。そんなに気に食わないんなら力ずくでやってみろよ、エミヤ。
Got it. Then it's really simple. All I have to do, I need to stop him so I can stop the bounded field. Something surges inside me. Fiery heat blooms through my whole body. There's no more than 20 meters between me and Shinji. It should only take an instant. My body is surging with vitality. So much more than when I activate my magic circuits.
本当にバカだね、お前。
A shadow wavers. The dark shape waiting in the corner of the hallway begins to take shape and move. A hard, sharp edge made of darkness itself. It's like a guillotine ready to cleave anything that approaches Shinji in two. I don't know what kind of magecraft it is. 3 shadows emerge. That's all there is. I can't prevent it on my own. I can't block them. Well, I can at least manage to avoid them. But I'm not sure I can dodge them and attack Shinji. The 3 sharp blades approach. I stop in my tracks and concentrate on evading, keeping an eye on Shinji. I take a step to the left to dodge the blade that rushes toward my stomach. I twist my upper body to avoid the second blade coming towards my chest from the left after I avoid the first blade. And then I rush forward to pass the third blade flying at my unprotected forehead. Not a problem. I can see where they're going. Compared to Saber's attacks, this is like a game of dodgeball.
この生意気なんだよ、お前。
Three more shadows rush toward me. I don't even need to see where these are going. The first attack showed me how far and fast these can go, so I have no trouble avoiding this attack. I pass through the gaps between the 3 overlapping shadows. They're no threat. I don't feel any danger from the shadows. Saber taught me that I shouldn't hesitate as long as I don't sense that the attack will be fatal. Shinji! I close in on him. He has no shadows protecting him. Just a few more steps. Maybe 3 more meters and I can...
やめろ、来るな。
Shinji turns and runs. The moment I reach out to grab his back, I feel a chill run through my entire body as I quickly jerk my arm back. Something cuts through the air. A black blade slices through the space I'd been occupying just an instant before. Gah! I stop. I don't know where she came from, but standing in front of me now, I see the woman dressed in ominous black, so dark even the most venomous shade of crimson seems pale in comparison. My mind goes blank with fear. I'm going to die. I don't want to think about it, but the image of my own burial death fills my head. I sense it. I sense only death. The shadows earlier were nothing like this.
いいぞライダー、遠慮するな。そいつはお前の好きにしていい。
Ryder's form blurs. I need to... No way am I fighting a serpent. I retreat immediately. This isn't a good time to fight. I need to regroup and make Shinji stop the bounded field. God! I'm not sure what happened, but I retreat desperately. Fear makes everything in front of me appear completely white. I don't even know what I'm so terrified of. Without thinking, I throw an arm out to cover my neck. Something sharp buries itself in my arm. The dull sound of scraping bone tells me the next attack will end me. I run. I can't afford to look back. I just cover my vital spots with my hands as best I can in my frantic retreat. The sharp edge slowly saws through my body with a horrible jarring sound. A spray of my own blood blots out my vision. Meanwhile, Ryder is rushing toward me so quickly that I can't even see her. With each cut, I hear sounds I can't even recognize coming from my own mouth. But I continue my desperate retreat, somehow surviving the dozens of fatal blows striking at me. I don't know what I'm doing. Ryder's dagger is buried in my arm. My clothes are tattered and torn, and my flesh is brutally shredded. But I'm still able to shield myself with my own body, blocking the attacks aimed at my neck and head. This isn't a conscious thing at all anymore. Pure instinct drives my reactions as I desperately try to survive Ryder's attacks. My breathing is labored. I'm only running away, rushed along by the imminent death looming over me. Eventually, whatever strength I have left will fade, and she'll catch up to me. Then I'm dead. That's what Saber had been trying to tell me. Don't fight against a servant. Fight wouldn't even be the right word for it. She told me again and again, so why am I in this position now? All I want to do is catch Shinji as fast as possible and make him shut off this daggone bounded field. So what the heck am I doing?
何してるんだライダー。もういいだろう。さっさと切り殺しちゃえよ。どうせ何もできないんだからさ、そいつは。
Shinji is elated, his voice triumphant. Ryder nods and swings her dagger up in a wide arc. She's striking at my head. I can't dodge. All I can really do is try to prevent her from hitting anything vital. The dagger stabs into my shoulder, right below the collarbone. I hear a high-pitched metallic sound, then the click of a tongue. The end of Ryder's dagger is starting to disintegrate.
驚いた。私の刃物では殺せない。
Ryder stops. In that instant, I frantically try to come up with a way to leverage this sudden opportunity.
なら、落ちて死になさい。
Something strikes me with all the force of a sledgehammer, and I go flying out the window. God! It had only been a kick to the stomach, but I go flying, shattering the window. We're on the 3rd floor. Left alone, I'll die of blood loss anyway. So a fall from this height will be enough to finish me off. I mean, an ordinary human would be dead on the spot from a blow strong enough to send them flying like this anyway. I reach out. Maybe I'm not falling yet. Or maybe I'm just hallucinating right before I die. But my body is still suspended in midair. Huh? How? I reach out, desperately grabbing for something, anything. The sky is crimson. The school is pulsating like a creature's stomach. And am I just going to die? Let something like this happen? Let this happen? Am I going to let myself die without saving so much as a single person? I can't. I grit my teeth furiously. I can't win. This is not even a battle. I knew that going in, but I still screwed it up. There's no more pain. All I fear is my sheer rage making my insides unravel. I thought I could do it alone. This is what I get for saying I won't let Saber fight. I was an idiot. I can't save anyone on my own. If I really wanted to end this war, there was only one thing I should have done right from the start. He asked me whether I was really not going to fight, not kill, and not let anyone kill. If I realized my mistake, I should first decide what to fix, then decide who to punish. And then I see it. There on my arm, still reaching up as if to touch the heavens, my command spells, waiting for an order. I'll summon Saber. Please come. I remember those words like a prayer. My life doesn't matter anymore. But to put a stop to this savage brutality? No. Come! Saber! I muster up all my strength and call for my blade. One of my command spell strokes disappears. At that very moment, the space around me begins to waver. So this is magic. Okay. That's a cool shot. Saber, clad in her silver armor, burst through the ripples in space and time to appear before me. Gah! My back slams into the ground. I stop breathing. The force of impact jars every bone and organ in my body. Several ribs crack, probably break outright. Yet, my body's intact. My bloody arms are still attached.
Shirou!
Saber runs to me, forcing my numb limbs to move. I push to my feet to show her that I'm all right. There's no time to explain. You understand what's happening. There's no time to explain. You understand what's happening, right, Saber?
待ってください、シロ。それはわかりますが、その前にあなたの体を。
Take care of Ryder. Only you can beat her.
いけません。シロの治療が先です。このままではあなたが死ぬ。
No, there's something else that needs doing first. We need to beat Shinji and Ryder as quickly as possible. Nothing is more important.
ですが、それでは。
Saber is focused only on me. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't happy about that. But there's no time to argue. If Saber doesn't want to listen, I just need to use my second command spell. She must have understood my resolve. Saber reluctantly accepts my decision.
わかりました。マスター、指示を。
Defeat Ryder. I'll handle Shinji. Saber does not hesitate. She nods and, without another word, turns toward the school building like a whirlwind. I run up the stairs. Ryder and Shinji are on the 3rd floor. I can tell Shinji's still on the 3rd floor because of the way my command spells are reacting. The moment I set foot on the third floor, sparks fly. Is that Ryder? I couldn't see, but Saber must have parried Ryder's attempt at a sneak attack from above.
シロー、ライダーはここで倒します。あなたはライダーのマスターを。
She doesn't need to tell me. Saber can't possibly lose to Ryder. She won't! I'm absolutely sure after what little I was able to learn of Ryder's abilities during my brief fight with her. Saber's abilities vastly exceed Ryder's. I'm leaving her up to you, but try not to go too far. It'll be over soon once I stop Shinji. I run right past Saber. That same instant, Ryder flings a dagger at me with murderous intent, but Saber rushes in to deflect the attack. I run down the hallway. Ahead, I see a bewildered Shinji. Guess I'll be at a disadvantage if I go at him empty-handed. I need a weapon. It should be long, like the mop leaning against the locker there. Trace. On! I pass magical energy through my body as I run. Maybe I'm not distracted, or maybe I just can't afford to think of anything else. I managed to strengthen the plastic mop as effortlessly as breathing. The shadows begin forming again. I'm badly injured, but I don't feel the least bit sluggish. More than that, I have a weapon now. That means I don't even need to dodge. I use the mop to smack aside each shadow as it flies toward me. The mop breaks, but I expected as much from something done so hastily. Besides, I don't need it anymore. I'm so close. Shinji! I lash out with a furious punch. The impact jars my arm, which is still practically cut to ribbons, so painfully that I nearly pass out. I punch Shinji in the stomach, and then grab him and shove him against the wall. Shinji tried to shove my hand away. Without missing a beat, I kick his grasping arm. I can't even control myself right now. I slam the arm I kicked against the wall and break it. I don't even hear Shinji's screams. This is bad. If I don't focus, it might be me who faints. I should hurry while I can still move. I grab Shinji's hair and smash him against the wall. Scream later! Release the bounded field, Shinji! I grab Shinji by the throat with the arm I can still control. Blood pours from my arm. It seeps through my clothes and it drips onto Shinji's body, staining him. If you won't shut it off the bounded field, then I'll just have to kill you. I don't care which it is, so pick one! Now! I squeeze. It must be all the magical energy coursing through my body. I can snap his neck like a twig.
データやめだ。お前にそんなことできるもんか。それに僕はまだ誰も殺してないぞ。ただみんなから少しだけ命を分けてもらっただけ。
Okay then. Bye, Shinji. I squeeze harder. There's no hesitation. Maybe a little sympathy. I feel bad that as a fellow mage, Shinji was never taught the rules of being a mage, and so didn't have any problem killing innocents.
待ってくれ、分かった。僕の負けだ、エミヤ。結界はすぐに止めるから。
I loosen my grip around his throat.
くそ、バカ力出しやがって。おい、ライダー！ブラッドホードを止めろ！マスターの命が危ないんだぞ！
There's no response from Ryder. But hearing Shinji, Saber takes a step back from Ryder. Ryder lowers her dagger. I see her mouth move.
これでいいんだろう。この結界は特殊らしくてね。一度貼った場所にはそう簡単に貼り直せないらしい。もうここに結界を貼ることはないんだから、その手を離せよ。
That's not how this works. I won, so you do what I say. Shinji, get rid of your command spells. Then we'll never have to fight again.
ふざけるな。そんな真似ができるもんか。霊樹がなくなったらライダーを従えられない。そうなったら僕は。
You won't be a master anymore. Then go to the church in Shinto. I hear they protect masters who drop out of the war. Or is it something else? Were you lying when you said you made a bounded field to protect yourself?
別にそんなこと言ってないだろう。僕はただマスターになってサーバントを従えていれば。
He thought he could be a mage. But what's the point of becoming one? It's over, Shinji. If you're not going to get rid of your command spells, I'll just have to cut them all. Cut them out.
剥ぎ取る。
Shinji tilts his head in genuine wonderment. This isn't an act. Shinji really doesn't know what I'm talking about. Well,
シロ、離れて。
I hear Saber shout. Maybe it's all the training at the dojo, but my body reacts to Saber's words before my brain processes them. I let go of Shinji and jump back. At the moment, Ryder's dagger swings through the spot I've been standing in, a heartbeat before.
ライダー。
下がりなさい、マスター。この場から離脱します。
シロ、下がって。ライダーは結界維持に使っていた魔力を全て解放するつもりです。
What? Unleash the magical energy? I look towards Ryder. She does seem odd. The way she just appeared and when she's been confronting Saber a second ago. The cold air emanating from her. Everything about her is suddenly far more intimidating than she's ever been.
ライダー。何考えてんだお前。エミヤのサーバントにさえ勝てないくせに勝手なことしてんじゃない。
はい。確かに私ではセイバーに及びません。ですがご安心を。我が宝具は他のサーバントを凌駕しています。たとえ相手が何者であろうと我が失踪を妨げることはできない。
Ryder raises her dagger. Everyone gasps in surprise. For some reason, Ryder presses the dagger to her neck and slashes her own throat? What the? Red sprays everywhere. Blood gushes from the black-clad Ryder's pale neck.
何を。
Shinji's just as surprised as the rest of us. No matter how extraordinary servants may be, a slashed throat is fatal. Ryder will bleed out and disappear on her own. The splattered blood stops midair and slowly forms into a circle. A magic circle drawn in blood. It's a pattern I've never seen before. The design resembles a creature, an ominous creature. Ryder's created a giant lump of magical energy. The bounded field from earlier seems like child's play compared to this magic circle. What? I'm being pushed back! This must be a truly massive amount of magical energy. I'm being pushed back as if by a strong wind.
シロ、離れて。ライダーは宝具を使う気です。そこにいては巻き込まれる。
Saber grabs me and jerks me back. She faces down Ryder in her magic circle as she protects me.
逃げるつもりか、ライダー。自身のマスターをも巻き込むというのなら、ここで引導を渡すだけだ。そのような宝具を使わせはしない。
まさかマスターを守るのがサーバントの役割でしょう。それが気に食わないのなら追ってきなさい、セイバー。もっともこれを見た後でもあなたに戦う気迫が残っていればの話ですが。
A throbbing sound pulses through the school. With the sound of rending flesh, Ryder's hair whirls around her. Saber tugs my hand and drags me to the ground. There's a roar and then a flash. I close my eyes against the raging wind. But even with my eyes closed, I still feel its intensity. Something white streaks by. A huge bolt of light shoots down the hallway at tremendous speed. All I see before me is dreadful destruction. Shinji and Ryder are gone. The bolt of light wasn't after us. It was probably a means of escape. My wounds hurt. I feel like hammering my head again. The heat flowing through my body quickly fades.
Shiro.
I don't hear Shade and Saber's question. My vision goes blank white. I'm having that dream. Maybe this is what death looks like to me. The closer I get to death, the more I keep seeing these images I don't want to see. I see motionless bodies crumbling and disappearing. That moment when everyone desperately sought help, but none came. That was painful. It was so terrible, it hurt even to live, and I thought maybe just disappearing would put me out of my misery. Dazed, I reached my hand out, but not because I wanted help. I just thought the sky was so far away. That was my final thought, I think. And then I lost consciousness, and my outstretched hand fell to the ground. Or rather, it should have. A large hand grasps the smaller one as it falls. Hey, is this the first time we've actually seen Kiritsugu in this game? He rushed into the fire to save somebody and found me. I remember that face. I remember the tears pooling in his eyes, how overjoyed he was to have found a living human being. He looked so happy. It seemed almost like he was the one being saved, not me. And then, he actually looked envious of me, who was on the brink of death. He even looked grateful for something as he rescued a strange child. It was a turning point in my life. The weakness I showed in accepting death became a strength, a desire to live. My mind, which had practically gone blank, was filled with the joy of being saved in that moment. I tried moving my fingers with what strength I had left so as to not let go of the man's hand, and then I finally passed out. The next thing I knew, I was in the hospital, and the man who saved me had come to visit. That was 10 years ago. From then on, all I ever did was follow in Kiritsugu's footsteps. The only thing I could think of was being like him. It's not because he saved me. I couldn't shake off the image of his face back then, and I tried to become the same thing. I've been striving for that ever since. Somewhere in the back of my mind, I dreamed I wouldn't notice. That's right. That I would one day. I held to the hope, the dream that one day I too would be saved if I could smile like Kiritsugu did back then. When I open my eyes I'm in my living room. The ticking of the clock is awfully loud. It looks like I've been sleeping on the floor, and when I raise my arms, I notice the bandages wrapped tightly around both of them. It's dark out. I sit up. According to the clock, it's 10 at night.
外暗いなじゃないわよこの恩知らず。目が覚めたらまず言うべきことがあるんじゃない？
Tosaka, you're here.
いたのかじゃないわよ。あんたの真横でずっと看病してやってたのに随分な態度じゃない。
I didn't know that. That's ungrateful of me. Sorry, my brain's a little wonky. I can't really think straight, but thanks. Guess I owe you one. Again.
まあ別に大したことじゃないからいいけど、シロもあれだけの怪我だったんだから意識が朦朧としてるのも当然だしさ。で、痛いところはないの？とりあえず外傷は塞がってるけど中身まではわからないから、異常があるんなら手当てしないとまずいでしょ。
No, I just feel dull. Nothing's hurting. It's just that I feel like I'm floating. I don't know how I ended up here. I don't remember what I did today. Oh, right, Tosaka. How's the school? What happened to me after that?
大丈夫、みんなのことは安心なさい。学校にはキレイがフォローに行ったから。廊下の補修とか事後処理はあいつがするから考えなくていいわ。あれでも新職なんだし、これぐらいさせなきゃ罰が当たるでしょ。
He's doing that? So that means the school's...
大事にはなってないわ。病院に運び込まれた生徒は多いけど命に別状はないみたい。みんな栄養失調ってことで 2,3 日病院で休む程度だって。
Okay, that's a relief. Dissolving the bounded field took longer than expected, but I wasn't too late. The instant I relax, every last bit of strength floods out of me. I breathe out deeply, and I lean back against the wall. Does that mean Kotomine healed me too? I don't think even you would be able to heal so many wounds.
何言ってるのよ。それはあんたが勝手に治したの。バーサーカーの時と一緒。とりあえず傷を塞ぐだけなら超がつくほどの回復力だけど、あなたの方には覚えはないのよね。
No, I don't know why myself. I was normal until I formed a contract with Saber.
もしかして自分が知らないだけで祖先がトカゲだったとかない？
Excuse me. How can you say something like that with a straight face? This is weird for me too, you know. It's like my body isn't my own.
いいんじゃない？何はどうあれ、それで何度も命を流れてるんだから。もう2回も助けられたことだし、トカゲになるぐらいは妥協できる交換条件だと思うけど。
Are you enjoying teasing the critically injured guy, Tosaka?
さっきまで重病人だった人でしょ。ま、ともかくセーバーに感謝しなさいよね。理屈はわからないけど、シローの体がそうなったのはセーバーのおかげなんだし。
Oh, my brain finally starts working. There's something I need to do. I needed her, I called her, so she came and she saved me. I need to tell her something right away. I stand up too quickly. Pain shoots through my body as I move, but I can't let that stop me. Tosaka, where's Saber?
道場にいるわ。私は部屋に荷物取りに行ってくるわね。
Tosaka heads over to the outbuilding. Ouch! My joints creak with pain. I grit my teeth and try to endure it as I head toward the dojo. I reach the dojo. Saber is sitting in Saiza style, as if she's meditating.
シロ、目が覚めたのですか？
Saber notices me coming and hurries to her feet, then rushes over to me. Sorry for worrying you. I only just came to. And Saber?
すまないではありません。あなたには言いたいことが山ほどある。私を置いて敵の誘いに乗ったこと、一人で戦おうとしたこと、自身の体を気遣おうともしなかったこと。分かっているのですか？そのどれもが死に直結する愚行です。いや、実際あなたは死にかけていた。こうして私を追い詰めて何が楽しいのです。
No,
何ですか？生半可な弁明では引き下がりません。今日という今日はとことんあなたの考えを聞かせていただきますから。
Saber comes at me with all the rage and force of a hurricane. She's so intense. I'm not sure how to explain it, but I'm kind of enjoying Saber being so emotional. I know. Let me explain myself. Let's talk, Saber. As you can see, I've healed.
シロ、持ち直したのですか?
Yeah, looks like it. I'm alive for now.
そうですか。それは良かった。
Where'd that angry look from a few seconds ago go? Saber heaves a relieved sigh and smiles softly as if celebrating my recovery. It helps me understand that even Saber, stoic as she always is acting like this because of how much I worried her. I wasn't relying on Saber, but she still accepted me as someone to fight alongside. How stupid of me. I hadn't realized the extent to which she trusted me. And I couldn't extend the most basic trust of just letting her fight. Saber. I speak up more comfortably now. I'm finally able to look her in the eye, and it feels natural.
はい。何ですか、シロ?
Sorry, I was an idiot. I bow my head.
シロ、やめてください。先ほどのは言葉のあやです。怒っていたのは確かですが、あなたに謝ってもらう必要は。
Of course I do. I'm your partner, and I owe you an apology. I'm sorry I worried you. As long as I'm with you, I'll never fight alone.
シロ、それは。
Yeah, Saber. Please lend me your strength. I can't beat the other masters on my own. I need your help.
それでは、今までの行動が間違いだったと認めるのですね。シロはマスターとして後方支援に徹し、戦うのは私の役割だと。
Well, I still don't want to see Saber hurt. That's why I forbid her from fighting. And that's where I was wrong. Ever since I decided to fight with her, I should have just put everything I had into helping her. No, I don't think I was mistaken. If you're going to protect me, I'm going to protect you. I can't let you fight alone. Saber doesn't answer. The mood in the dojo turns frosty. I just can't let this go. If I lift my head, thinking I'll just have to beg until she accepts me. I lift my head, thinking I'll just have to beg until she accepts my determination. But then...
その堅くなさは、実にあなたらしい。
Saber?
まったく。今さら答えるまでもないでしょう。私はあなたの剣です。私以外の誰があなたの力になるのですか、シロ。
Saber extends her left hand. I can't think of anything sensible to say, so I shake her hand. Our handshake forms something almost tangible. It's been a few days since we first met, but it feels like we finally formed a real contract.
何握手なんてしてるの？二人とも。
Hey, why would she show up now of all times? Saber and I quickly let go of each other's hands.
なんか怪しいわね。まさか私に内緒で作戦会議をしてたとか？
いえ、そういうわけではないのです。マスターの体が健康かどうか脈を測っていただけですので。
I'm dumbfounded. Saber just told a bald-faced lie. But why would Saber panic about this too?
へえ、変わった脈の取り方をするのね。
Tosaka regards Saber curiously. In response, Saber starts acting even more suspiciously, probably because she's not used to lying. I need to help her, or this will get even more awkward. Hey, what do you want, Tosaka? Didn't you say you were getting something from your room?
あ、それそれ。はい、セイバ、これ。
ありがとう。リンには迷惑をかける。
Tosaka hands Saber a bag. Saber looks surprisingly happy as she takes the bag.
それが最後だから気をつけなさいよね。いくら強制召喚だからって 力ずくで武装したら服なんて消し飛ぶんだから。
申し訳ありません。突然のことだったので、そこまで考えが回らなかったのです。それ、
まあね、単純なデザインだし制服みたいなものだし、綺麗なやつ、地味な服ばっかり私に押し付けるんだもの。まあ私には似合わない服だからいいけどさ。なんだってその服にこだわるのよ、セイバ
ー。ええ、シローが似合うと言いましたから。
I'm not following all of this, but it seems that Saber's third set of clothes. I don't have any women's clothing around the house, so Saber's been borrowing clothes from Tosaka. But yeah, I'd really appreciate if they had their girl talk when I'm not around. I am a guy. It had been such a nice conversation until now, too. I don't really know what to do with myself when they get to talking about stuff like this. So not much happened afterward, and both Tosaka and Saber forced me to go sleep in my room. I may have regained consciousness, but I'm still severely injured. Ryder sliced up my arm so bad that under normal circumstances, I'd have to worry about whether I'd ever be able to use them again. Plus, I fell 3 stories, so I'm all broken and bruised. There's plenty I should be thinking about, but the two have agreed that the best thing for me to do right now is sleep so I can heal. Let Shinji get away, and I'll need to settle things with him as quickly as possible. He didn't hesitate to activate the bounded field. Even I know how dangerous it'd be to let a master like that roam free. Dang, this isn't the time for me to sleep. Things are blank, like a dizzy spell sweeping over me. The only thing that feels normal is my head. As soon as I lay down, my half-healed body just forces me off to sleep. Tomorrow. When tomorrow comes, I don't have time to rest like this. Even if my body isn't fully healed, I need to find Shinji. February 9th. Fate. 10. Skyscraper. I'm having a bad dream. My body, injured as it is, demands long, deep sleep. But my mind is still stuck replaying all that happened today and won't let me rest peacefully. My body, still not fully healed, is burning. My mind is plagued with guilt. I think I'm crying out in my sleep. As I sleep, my dream drags on. How many victims were there? Tosaka said there were no deaths, but that might just be the official story. No way does someone come out unscathed after having their life force ripped from them. They could suffer any number of long-term physical problems in years to come, or even brain damage from lack of oxygen. Some students even had severe skin damage. Even if they heal, they'll likely have scars for the rest of their lives. My body hurts. I nearly died today. No, I did die today. And convulsion rocks my whole body. Bad luck for everyone who got sucked into this today. But you did well, Shirou. You stopped the catastrophe, and you did it by taking a wound that would normally kill you. There's nothing to feel guilty about. The pain tries to tell me to just go to sleep. No, I can't make excuses for myself. It doesn't matter. There was a disaster, and I just happened to be there, but I couldn't do anything. They're saying I saved lives, but I didn't save anyone. Not one person. If only this had just been a mistake. If only it hadn't happened, then my mind would be at peace and I could sleep. I'm ticked off. It's absurd, my heart complaining like this when my body's already so weak. There won't be a miracle like that. Just wishing for a do-over because things didn't go well or were so terrible they should never happen is pathetic. You can't take back what's already done. It's not possible and shouldn't be attempted anyway. So I can't just pretend all that didn't happen. There's only one thing I can do. Make sure I do everything I possibly can to prevent anything like that from ever happening again. That's enough sleep. I can worry about my body later. If I can move, I should wake up and hit the ground running. If my goal is to make sure no one is hurt, I'll need to push myself to the verge of death. I open my eyes. I take one deep breath, filling my lungs with air. The frigid winter air dispels my drowsiness almost instantly. I realize it's just past 6 in the morning. Habits really are extraordinary things. My body must have at least partially recovered since I'm waking up at my usual time. Okay. I stand up and fold up my futon blanket. The instant I undertake even such a mundane task, intense pain spikes through my left shoulder. Yeah, I guess I'm not completely healed. It's only pain, though. This is far better than what I felt when Berserker tore out my stomach the other day. When that happened, my insides felt like they were all slush, and the nausea was far more intense than the pain. I head out to the hallway. The sunlight is muted by the gloom outside. It's cloudy. Looks like it's going to rain.
シロ、目が覚めたのですか?
Yeah, I just woke up. You're up early, Saber. You're usually asleep around now. Yeah, Saber's not typically up so long before breakfast.
シロ、私とて好きで眠っているわけではありません。私が朝食まで眠っているのは単に魔力を温存するためだと言ったはずです。いかにも普段から寝過ごしているという物言いはやめてほしい。
Why? I didn't mean for it to sound like that. I was more asking if it was okay for you to be awake so early.
ほう、そうですか。私が早起きするのはおかしいと。
Saber sounds crabby. Maybe it's my imagination. Saber doesn't seem quite as reserved as usual. No, I didn't say it was strange. I was just wondering if it was okay. It's my fault that you need to sleep so much. So don't you need to sleep as much as possible today too?
当然です。ですが、それはあくまで待機状態に過ぎません。私が眠っていたのは緊急時に備えてのもの。今の状態で眠るのは道理にかなわないではないですか。
What do you mean it's not logical? We're not fighting anybody right now and nobody's attacking us.
いえ、ですからそれは。
Saber's stumbling over her words. It seems like there's something she doesn't want to say. Well, whatever. There's no emergency, so you should sleep until the next time we go out. I'll call you up when breakfast's ready, so just save your strength until then. I'm going to need your help all day today. I head to the kitchen.
待ってください、シロ。
Huh? What? Do you have something up?
あなたは今何をすると言いましたか?
I hold my breath, barely realizing I'm doing it. She's asked me something, but her eyes are preventing me from giving an answer.
そもそもあなたは安静にしなければいけない体でしょう。朝食の支度など凛がします。シロが優先すべきことは部屋で休み、体を癒すことです。それが分かっていないとは言わせません。
Saber's being so stern because she's genuinely concerned about me.
部屋に戻ってください、シロ。眠りが必要なのは私ではなくあなたの方です。
Saber sees right through me and glares at me all the more intensely. Still, I can't let Shinji let loose. No, I'm not going back to my room. I've rested enough, and there are things I need to do. Once we're ready, let's head out to town, Saber. We're going to catch Shinji. Today.
なぜですか? 今日中にライダーのマスターを捕らえる理由などありません。戦うのならシローの傷が癒えてからにするべきです。それからでも遅くはないでしょう。
You've got it wrong, Saber. If we're setting priorities, my body is at the bottom of the list. We don't have the luxury of waiting. You know exactly what Shinji is willing to do. We need to separate him from Ryder before they make another bounded field. He won't be a threat if he doesn't have a servant.
昨日のような犠牲者を出したくないというのですか。ライダーのマスターを倒すのではなく、ただそれだけのために戦うと。
That's not true. I'm going to hold Shinji accountable. To do that, we need to defeat Ryder. And it's the right thing to do, to prevent more victims. That's the most important reason we have to fight.
そうですか。マスターがそう言うのなら、私は従うだけですが。
シンジを探す？別に文句はないけど、ちゃんと勝ち目があって言ってるんでしょうね、シロ。
It's after breakfast. That's Tosaka's immediate response when I say we can't let Shinji remain on the run. Huh? You're asking about my chances of beating Shinji?
そうよ。前もって言っとくけど、賞賛もないくせに他のマスターに手を出す気だった。なんて言ったら笑うわよ。
Crud. Now that she mentions it, I really only thought about stopping Shinji. I haven't given much thought to the details, or any.
ちょっと、エミヤくん、本気？
Sorry. Laugh all you want.
うわ、悪いけど笑えないわ、今の冗談。
That reaction makes it clear just how stupid I'm being. I want to curl up into a little ball and hide.
セイバー、あんたのマスターはこんなんだけど、あなた自身はどうなの？ライダーと
戦うだけならば問題はありません。彼女の能力は確認済みです。それはシロー本人も分かっていると思います。何しろライダーと直接対峙したのですから。
ああ、そうだっけ。ならシローにもライダーがどの程度かは分かっているんだ。
Tosaka looks my way, her eyes curious. She obviously wants to know about how strong Ryder is. True, I do have something of an assessment. Maybe it's because I formed a contract with the servant, or maybe it's the power of the command spells. She may not be my servant, but I have some understanding of her abilities since I've seen her fight. Ryder wasn't an especially strong servant. Ryder isn't as strong as Saber. If they fight one-on-one, I don't see Saber losing.
そうなんだ。ならちゃんと勝算はあるんじゃない。シンジは魔術師じゃないから、ライダーはマスターからの支援を受けられない。必然的にセイバーとライダーの一騎打ちになるものね。
Tosaka's right. As long as Shinji's a master, Ryder has to fight on her own. Saber shouldn't be at a disadvantage, but...
何よ、気の乗らない顔して。何か問題でもあるっていうの？
Yeah, listen, Tosaka. Even though Saber had Ryder cornered, and Saber was way superior in combat, Ryder managed to escape with Shinji. I think it was Ryder's noble phantasm. The arrow of light that tore through the hallway. If Saber hadn't shoved me to the ground, that wave of destruction would have completely annihilated me. If that was Ryder's ace in the hole, we shouldn't take her lightly, even if she is weaker.
つまりライダーはライダー本人より所有する宝具の方が優れてるタイプってわけね。で、セイバー、シローはともかく、あなたならライダーの宝具が何であるか分かったんじゃない？目の前で使われたんだから見当ぐらいはついてるんでしょ？
面目ありません。シローを守ることに精一杯で、私もあれが何であるか確認することはできなかった。そんなことに気を割いていたら、私もシローもあの一撃に巻き込まれていたでしょう。
巻き込まれたって、 何？ライダーの宝具って飛び道具なの？
それに近いものでした。分類的にはリンの使う魔術に近い。あれは私の剣やランサーの槍のような対人宝具ではないのでしょう。
Yeah, but it was still freaky with her slashing her own throat just to draw it out. Ugh.
私の魔術に近いってそれこそ変よ。セイバーの対魔術は神業じゃない。現代の魔術じゃまずあなたに傷を負わせることはできない。そのあなたがかわさない。
はい。神秘はより強い神秘の前に無効化される。私の鎧を通ることができる神秘はあなたたちの言う魔法か神域に住む幻想種だけです。
魔法使い。ライダーは魔術師だっていうの？セイバ
いいえ、それほどの魔力は感じませんでした。彼女はライダーです。魔法使いがいるとすればそれはキャスターだけでしょう。ライダーの宝具はおそらく別のものだと思います。
Saber's answer gets a sigh of relief from Tosaka. I don't quite get what's going on, though. Saber, is your armor that strong? You say only true magic can penetrate it, so does that mean Lancer's gay bulk is true magic?
ええ、確かにランサーのゲイボルクは魔法に近い呪いですが、リン、シローに説明してあげてくれますか？
私？まあいいけど。要するにシローはセイバーは魔法じゃないと傷つかないと勘違いしているわけね。
Well, that's not what I'm saying. But I just thought it was amazing that her armor's that strong.
そりゃすごいわよ。セイバーに限らずサーバントってのはみんな英霊なのよ。霊体ってこともあるけど真っ当な手段じゃ傷一つつけられない。サーバントはそれ自体が神秘だから。物理的な手段でサーバントを傷つけられるのは同じ英霊であるサーバントだけ。逆に言えばサーバント同士ならただのペーパーナイフでもセイバーを傷つけることはできる。
So what you're saying is that Saber's armor isn't invulnerable when she's dealing with another servant?
そうね。けどセイバー自身接近戦の技量が優れているから白兵戦ではまずセイバーに傷は負わせられない。残った手段は遠距離からの攻撃、魔術っていう飛び道具になるわけだけど、セイバーは騎士のくせにとんでもない対魔力を持ってるから大抵の魔術は弾かれてしまうのよ。
To attack her from a long distance? I believe the O and R are supposed to be switched.
バッドラックに代表される呪いなんてまず届かないし、魔力を矢として放つ直接干渉も効かない。セイバーを倒したかったら真正面からの切り合いで彼女を任さなくちゃダメってわけ。
Saber listens silently to Tosaka's explanation. Saber never interrupts her, probably because everything Tosaka's saying is true. What the heck? It's like cheating! Someone would try to go up against Saber with magecraft because they can't beat her in single combat? But if magecraft itself is useless against her, what can they do? That sounds unfair.
そうね。けどそのセイバーだって白兵戦で絶対に負けないというわけでもないでしょ。
Uh-oh. What did I say to make Saber mad?
バーサーカーは力だけならセイバーを上回ってるし、ランサーだって白兵戦において必殺の槍を持ってる。今話してるライダーだってセイバーを出し抜くほどの宝具を持ってたんだから、セイバーも完璧ってわけじゃないわ。私たちだってセイバーを倒す方法はあるもの。単にセイバーの耐え魔力を上回る魔術を持ってくるか、サーバントが使っている武器を借りて寝ている間に首を切るとか。サーバントの武器なら サーバント自身と同じ霊格なんだから傷をつけることは可能なはずよ。
Yeah, go ahead and talk about how all the ways that you can kill Saber while she's standing right there. It's an alarming example, but I get it. Wait, but hold on, Tosaka. We probably shouldn't be talking about things like this in front of Saber. I see. So it's not that Ryder's noble phantasm was exceptional. Saber just went on the defensive because it was a servant that was attacking.
わけないでしょ。セイバーが守りに徹するのならライダー自身じゃ何をしたって追い詰めることなんて不可能よ。ライダー本人がそう優れた英霊じゃないのなら彼女が宝具を使ったところでたかが知れているし。そうでしょセイバー。ライダーの宝具はライダー自身の能力とは関係のない武器なのよね。
おそらくライダーの技や魔力に頼らない自動的な武装、宝具そのものに効果があるものだと思います。魔術か幻想種か、どちらにせよあの魔法陣から放たれたものは圧倒的でした。直撃を受けた場合生き延びられるサーバントなどいないでしょう。
そうなの？数値的にどれくらい？
あなたたち風に言うのなら A プラスといったところでしょうか。私個人の推測に過ぎないので断定はできませんが。
And yet they made her a 3-star, with a child version that's 1-star rank higher than her, and a giant snake lady version of her that's also 1-star ahead of her. 1-star ahead of her. And for some reason we still can't get her in we still can't get a summer variant of her.
A プラス？何それ？魔法一歩手前じゃない。
Oh, so what does that make EX rank noble phantasms?
そんなの使われてよく学校が吹っ飛ばなかったってもんだわ。
単純に破壊するだけの宝具というわけではないのでしょう。もともとは他の用途がある宝具なのではないでしょうか。
そうだとしても厄介ね。セイバーの話じゃ A 判定どころじゃないし、瞬間的な攻撃力ならサーバント中最高ってことになるのかしら。
まあ確かに攻守ともに優れた宝具のようでしたが、それより私の宝具の方が。
Saber face is indecipherable. Huh? I don't know what just happened. Saber doesn't look amused. Saber, did Tosaka say something that worries you?
いえ、別にそういうわけではないというか、本当はどちらが強いかなど追求するのは騎士にあるまじき行いというか。
She's acting strange. Saber seems embarrassed by her own actions and starts to mutter under her breath. Well, whatever. By the way, I thought I heard you say something weird. Something about Saber and Lancer being anti-personnel or something.
対人宝具ですか。いえ、言葉通りの意味ですが、私の風王結界やランサーのゲイボルクはあくまで人を倒すための武装です。いかに強力な魔力、呪いを帯びていたところで、その用途は対人の域を出るものではありません。
Well, I guess that makes sense. Saber's invisible sword is definitely useful in battle, but that's only effective against people. If you chop firewood with Saber's sword, whether you can see the blade or not isn't going to affect how quickly you can chop wood. It's the same with Lancer's gay bolt. Even a cursed spear that always strikes the heart is just a sharp spear if you use it against a boulder or a house. I see. So that's why it's called an anti-personnel noble phantasm. Which means Ryder's noble phantasm is...
大軍宝具ってことになるわね。そういえば父さんに聞いたことがあったわ。宝具には対人に優れたもの、対軍に優れたものがあるって。 簡単に言って対人砲具は弾数制限のない拳銃で、対軍砲具ってのは一発限りのミサイルってことね。ライダーの砲具は強力だけど、その分使用にかなりの制限があるんじゃないかしら。少なくともセイバーの剣みたいにいつも見えないなんて永続的な砲具じゃない。
What? Hold on a minute. A gun versus a missile. There's no contest. Sure, Saber's invisible sword is awesome, but if she goes up against a ridiculous noble phantasm like that, she'll be dead before she can even swing her sword. So you're saying that if we're going to fight Ryder, we need to defeat her before she deploys her noble phantasm?
でしょうね。砲具の打ち合いになったら勝ち目はない。ライダーとシンジを探すって言うなら、それだけは頭に入れておきなさい。大前提としてライダーが砲具を使う前に倒すこと。戦いを長引かせれば長引かせるだけこっちが不利になるから。
もしくは私が戦っている間にライダーのマスターを倒せばいい。あのマスターに戦闘手段はないのだから、そちらの方が確実かもしれません。
Since we have no strategy to deal with Ryder's noble phantasm, we just need to defeat Ryder before she uses it. Whatever noble phantasms other servants have, we still don't want to have to deal with Ryders. Thanks for the warning, Tosaka. We're going to go find Shinji, but what do you want to do, Tosaka? Will you stay and watch the house?
そうね。あなたたちがそう言うなら、私たちもシンジを探してもいいんだけど。まあ、やめとくわ。敵はライダーだけじゃないし、私たちはもともとバーサーカーを倒すために手を組んだんだしね。シローがシンジを追っている間、私は私でやることがあるから。
Tosaka stands up with a frosty smile.
それじゃあね。いい結果を期待しているわ。
Saber and I head out together, leaving Tosaka at home. It's 7:30 in the morning. The hilly road is extremely quiet. The road is usually packed with students going to school, but there aren't that many people around today.
学校は休校だそうですね。死者が出なかったとはいえ、大半の生徒は未だ立ち上がれる体ではないということですか。
Their symptoms are like severe malnutrition, so it should be a few days before they're up and around. But those are the lucky ones. There are still some whose injuries will last a lifetime.
タイガも病院に運ばれたと聞きます。見舞いに行かずともいいのですか、シロ。
Yeah, I hear Fujine is just fatigued. I was told not to worry about her and just to study at home. Before we left, I phoned the Fujine and Fujimura household and asked how Fujine was doing. I want to go visit, but I need to hold off for now.
では探索に専念するのですね。それはいいのですが、シロに当てはあるのですか。私はサーバントの気配を読み取れますが、それも近づかなければわかりません。何か手がかりがなければ探し出すのは難しいのではないでしょうか。
Yeah, it'd be hard if Shinji were just sitting around doing nothing. But I know him, and I don't see him just keeping quiet after what happened yesterday. Shinji's not the type to just sit back and take a beating.
では、ライダーのマスターは再び結界を張ろうとすると。
No doubt about it. He's like me. He can't provide his servant with magical energy. If Shinji wants to get revenge on me, he'll need a lot of magical energy. Which means it might not be so hard to find him.
ライダーのマスターを探すのではなく、結界を探すのですね。
Yeah, we may not be able to detect the master, but we should be able to detect a bounded field on that scale. And we'll be able to pinpoint the site too. We just need to find a big building that draws a large crowd.
驚いた。やりますね、シロ。
I do have a brain, you know. If I wasn't confident about finding them, I wouldn't be saying this. Yeah, I'm confident. The bounded field is one thing, but there's a point to us walking around like this too. Shinji probably can't leave me alone any more than I can leave him alone. I head to Shinji's house just in case. I have Saber check for Ryder's presence. She finds nothing. Well, Shinji's not the sort to just roll over and hide in his house after what happened. Let's go. If Shinji's going to create a bounded field, it wouldn't be here. It'll be in Shinto. Let's check all the office buildings there. I call Saber over and turn to leave the Monto house.
いいのですか、シロ。ここはさくらの家なのでしょう。立ち寄ったのですから、声をかけては。それぐらいは余裕があると思いますが。
I am worried about Sakura. According to Tosaka, Sakura was just weakened, and luckily wasn't injured beyond that. If it were up to me, I'd like to see her and take care of her the way she's always taken care of me. But I won't do it. As long as the war is going, I shouldn't see her. I don't want to get her involved in any of this. Besides, I can't possibly face Sakura when I'm about to head out to fight her brother. Should the worst happen and I actually kill Shinji, I'll never be able to face her again. I shouldn't leave any loose ends like that. It's best for me, and I'm sure it's best for Sakura too. We check every building we find. Of course, we start with the big ones, but so far, nothing. I wipe the sweat from my brow and force my leaden limbs to keep moving. I try to calm my labored breathing by just taking a moment to rest.
シロ、何か異常でもあり。シロ、こちらへ。
Hold it. This is the park. There's still buildings we haven't looked.
それは後にしてください。今はこちらが最優先です。
Something must have caught her attention. Saber's tone is stern and she pulls me toward the park. Hey, Saber, what's going on? Why are we here? There's nothing here. Even you know that.
いいですから、そこのベンチに座ってください。話はその後で聞きます。
Saber's intense about this, so I reluctantly sit down. And then, for a moment, I almost feel faint. Huh? I hold my head with one hand. My forehead is damp with sweat, and my breathing is labored even though I'm sitting down. Hey, wait a minute. Why would I be sweating like this in the dead of winter? This is weird. I don't know why I'm so exhausted. As soon as I say that, I realize what's going on. I'm not exhausted. My wounds haven't completely healed, so they're tingling. This is unreal. No matter how much I try, I can't get my breathing under control. My body feels heavy, and my legs refuse to take my weight.
ようやく自分の体に気がついたようですね、シロ。
Saber's mad. I don't blame her. I was the one who suggested searching for Shinji, but here I am, sitting on the bench. Sorry, I'll get up soon. Just give me a moment.
私が注意しているのはそんなことではありません。どうやらあなたには何を言っても無駄のようですね。
Huh? I can see that Saber's mad. What I don't understand is why. Hey, Saber, you need to be clearer with me, or else I won't know what you're trying to get at.
わからないのなら語る必要はないでしょう。いいですから、シロはそこで休んでいてください。一人で休むのが嫌なら、私もお付き合いしますから。
Saber sits right next to me. Huh? The bench is not that big. Saber's sitting close enough to me that our shoulders might touch if one of us leans over even a little. Hey, wait, Saber! We don't have time to rest. We didn't come here to play around.
遊びになど来ていません。休憩も戦いのうちです。文句を言うのでしたら、まずその呼吸を整えてからにしてください。
Well, you tell me to catch my breath, but... Sure, I'm totally worn out, and I can barely breathe. But having her so close makes my heart go absolutely crazy, and...
シロ、人の話を聞いていますか？ 今まで体に無理をさせてきたのですから、まずは肩の力を抜いて落ち着いてください。気が散っていては体が休まらないのですから。
Yeah, but if she wants me to be calm, it'd really help if she kept her distance. I don't know how Saber feels, but I can't help but see her as a girl around my own age. Well, she may actually be younger, but she's still a girl. And plus, she's beyond beautiful. No guy could stay calm at this close to her, and I'm certainly no exception.
シロ、気のせいでしょうか。先ほどより顔色が悪くなってきた気がするのですが。
No, I'm not flustered or anything.
それならいいのですが、やはり横になった方がいいのでしょうか。この辺りで休めるところと言ったら。
Saber looks around. Oh, what are the odds of there just being some random dude lying across a nearby bench using his girlfriend's lap as a pillow in a park that's usually deserted? And Saber glances at the pair of lovebirds. She's obviously thinking.
シロ、気分が悪いのでしたら横に。
I'm fine. I just need to sit up for a moment, and I'll get better. Don't worry about me. Nope, no worrying about me. Just leave me alone. I turn away from Saber and close my eyes. Anything to keep her eyes from locking. Think calm thoughts, Shirou. Now I just have to keep taking deep breaths and try not to think about Saber being right next to me. It took a night for the fire to die down. The searing, roaring red wall eventually disappeared. All that remains was a charred field. All that remains was a charred field strewn with smoldering blackened lumber. I remember that while I lay there on the ground, the sound of it reminded me of sparklers. The sky was getting cloudy. It should rain soon. That will help put out the fires. I could hardly even breathe as I lay there, staring dazedly at the sky. Charred remains hemmed me in on all sides. Burns cover almost my entire body, and there's an especially painful sensation around my chest. My chest is gouged out. I could probably touch my own insides. Oh yeah, I'd forgotten about that. I didn't collapse because I got tired. It's not that my numb body was trying to do me a favor by letting me rest. I collapsed because I was much too hurt to keep moving at all. That's why I ended up just accepting it calmly, no panic. I knew I wasn't going to make it. Everyone else was already dead anyway, so I wasn't scared. Staring up at the cloudy sky, I felt myself just sort of fading away. In the haze of fading consciousness, I decided that as long as I was alive, I'd try calling for help, right till the end. Huh? Wait, something's off. I shouldn't be remembering this pain in my chest. I jerked myself upright and tugged my shirt open to check myself over. Yeah, I figured as much. There's no wound. There's no scar on my chest. The respiratory distress that burn caused did almost kill me. But it didn't take some massive chest wound. It's something like that. If something like that had happened, even Kiritsugu wouldn't have been able to help me. But more importantly, whoa! It's already night. Did I fall asleep, Saber?
はい。よく眠っているようでしたので起こしませんでしたが、その会話あったようですね。先ほどに比べて、シローの顔色は良くなっていますから。
That's not very nice. Sure, it might have been my fault for passing out, but you could have woken me up. I told you we don't have time to rest.
休息は必要な行為です。それにシローが眠っていたのは1時間程度ですから、そう問題はないでしょう。
That's just the benefit of hindsight. What would you have done if I hadn't woken up?
そうですね。あまり変わりはないでしょう。日が落ちて寒くなってきましたから、そろそろ声をかけようと思っていたところです。
I do admit I feel a lot better. I get up from the bench and start walking through the field. There's no trace of what this field once looked like. No trace of when it used to be a residential district, nor any trace of when it was cast in that red light. But for some reason, I'm irritated that I dreamed that scene just because I slept here.
シロ、何か問題でもあるのですか？
No, I was just thinking that if I was going to rest, it should have been somewhere else. Too many bad memories here.
嫌な思い出。シロはこの場所に縁があったのですか？
Eh? Oh, right. I never told you. I used to live around here a long time ago. 10 years ago, actually. There was a giant fire. It burned down my house, with my parents inside. That's when my old man saved me. Later, he adopted me.
では、あなたは？
Yeah, I'm not Kiritsugu's biological child. And I guess I'm not without ties to the Holy Grail War either. I heard that this place was the final battleground during the last war. It's kind of ironic to think that the survivor of this site turned into a master. I walk through the field. It's been 10 years, but it still seems like the ground hasn't recovered enough for even grass to grow. Maybe all the resentment of the people who died here seeped into the land itself.
シロ、あなたが犠牲者を出すまいとするのは、それが理由ですか？あなた自身が聖杯戦争の犠牲者だからこそ、自分のような犠牲者は出したくないと。
Eh? Well... Now that she mentions it, I guess I can see people coming to that conclusion. Surprisingly, I've never thought about it like that. I'm not sure. You have a good point, but I think it's something simpler than that. 10 years ago, I was so happy when Kiritsugu saved me. I didn't feel anything else at the time, and I think I just aspired to be like him one day too. Yeah, I was just happy. Words can't even begin to describe what I felt when I called out for help and actually got it. But at the same time, the happier I was, the more guilty I felt. It didn't feel right though, knowing that my wish was the only one to be granted. My old man saved me, but no one else was saved, and they couldn't do anything about it. Everyone wished for salvation, but only my wish was granted. Only I was saved. And in exchange, everyone else died. And that's why I have to take responsibility. But I can't take back something that already happened. If I want to do something for the people who died, I should focus on preventing what's to come. I will not allow another catastrophe like the one 10 years ago. If something like that ever happened again, I'd never be able to face the people who got sacrificed that time. At least, that's how I see it. More importantly, we need to get back to looking for Shinji. I feel better now, and we need to hurry up and check the buildings we haven't gotten to yet. Besides, there should be fewer people around at night. If Shinji wants to attack us, this'll be the time. So if our plan is to be bait to lure him out, it's time to get to it. Let's go, Saber. Let's get back to the office district. Saber? What's wrong? Did you forget something?
いいえ、ただ今朝のことを思い出していました。体の傷を治してからライダーのマスターを探すべきだと言った私に、シローは順番が違うと言いました。シローは昨日も同じ言葉を口にした。以前から感じてはいましたが、その時に確信したのです。あなたには自分を助けようとする気がないのだと。
It's like she just stares at me and lays it out, like it's a sin or something.
あなたは自身より他人を優先している。それは立派ですが、それではシローはもっと自分を大切にするべきだ。
Saber cuts past me.
行きましょう。確かにここにいてはあなたに負担をかける。
Saber heads towards the office district. I try to call out to her, but I can't stop her. What are you saying? That's what I want to ask her, but the words just won't come out. There's no way I'm not trying to help myself. That can't be true, but I somehow can't think of a single thing to say to argue with her. We make our way through the town after dark. It's a little past 8. The station is at its most crowded hour, and Saber and I stare at the map of the town.
主だった建物は回りましたね。他に行くべき場所はありますか？
Let's see. There's a factory a little further out from here. We should probably go check it out since people gather there. Not that factories are exactly Shinji's style. We do make conversation now, but it's still hard for me to look at Saber in the eye. I think our conversation from earlier is still stuck in my head. Saber's acting like it didn't happen, which bothers me even more. What about you, Saber? Can you sense Ryder's presence?
いえ、感じません。彼女とは一度戦っていますから、近くにいれば知覚できるのですが。
An odd feeling prickles my skin. Even I can feel the wave of magical energy that washes over us. There is no way that Saber can't.
シロ、言うまでもないと思うのですが。
I know. Are they close, Saber?
いいえ、まだそこまでの距離ではないようです。ですが、確実に見られている。この魔力は私たちに対する挑発でしょう。
If we're being watched, that means they've fallen into our trap. Releasing so much magical energy is an obvious attempt to lure us out. So, is this Ryder? My mind changes gears. The awkwardness between Saber and me earlier disappears.
魔力をたどります。注意してください、マスター。
I nod. The wave of bloodlust I feel stinging at my skin is coming from the direction of the office district as it slowly empties of people. Today, of all days, maybe there'll be nobody working overtime. Most of the lights in the windows of the building seen at the heart of Shinto are dark. There aren't many people on the sidewalks, and we have a pretty clear view of the building. I don't see anyone suspicious. If Shinji's anywhere, he'll be up ahead, maybe in the park we just left. I feel the bloodlust growing more intense. The enemy's nearby, or more like... A chill runs up my spine. If even I can feel this aura of bloodlust, then we're probably already in enemy territory. Saber, be careful. Something's not right.
ええ、シローの感覚は正しい。このように人目のある場所で仕掛けてくるとは思いませんが、相手が相手です。用心に越したことはありません。
We both nod in silent agreement and make our way toward the park. It's probably best to ignore the oppressive sense of a knife being pressed to my throat. Shinji and Ryder are nowhere around the office district. If they're going to attack, it's probably going to be somewhere in the park, where there won't be anyone else around.
シロ、
Saber? I turn towards Saber. She rushes towards me like a bolt of lightning and blocks a blow aimed straight at my head. Good. I look up. A massive building towers overhead. Clinging to the side of that building like some kind of spider is Ryder. What? Her hair is long enough to cover her entire body, her limbs supple and white. The masked woman is indeed our enemy. Ryder! She licks her lips as she stares down at me. The hairs on the back of my neck stand on end. There's no mistaking it. She came spiraling down from the top of the building, aiming to take my head in a sneak attack from our blind spot. Saber lands on the ground. In the time it took for her to rush in to block Ryder's attack, Saber summoned her armor. Saber, she's...
追います。シローはここにいてください。
Go after her? How? Saber kicks off from the ground. She disappears into the sky with a glint of silvery armor. What? Ryder clinging to the side of the building like that is absurd enough. but Saber leaping skyward in pursuit of her is just outright ridiculous. No, they're servants. Normal logic doesn't apply here. Like Ryder, Saber moves along the side of the building, striking at her with dizzying speed. The two shadows clash and cross against each other. The sight of the two of them fighting overhead, darting along the building as they climb into the air, it's like watching two fighter jets. All the while I said I was going to be beside her, and that's what I'm going to do. I need to follow Saber. I can't just watch and do nothing. The uneven footing prevents Saber from gaining ground on Ryder. The two clash in the air, rushing up to the rooftop. On the rooftop? If Ryder came flying down from the top of the building, chances are Shinji's there. We have two possible ways to win our fight against Ryder. Either we defeat her directly, or we defeat her master. But whichever it is, it has to be before she deploys her noble phantasm. While Saber's fighting Ryder, there's only one thing I should be doing. Interlude. 10-1. Fate. The two shadows climb upward. They continue to distance themselves from the ground, gaining more and more altitude. Neither needs proper footing. They just kick their way up along the wall. As it happens, they clash countless times, all before they even reach the top. Were anyone watching from the ground, they'd probably think they were seeing a game of pinball. Though I doubt they'd be able to follow the two with the naked eye. Okay, so is somebody else besides Shirou watching this now? I'll do it as Shirou. It's like a deadly circus act. The collisions are barely discernible, invisible to normal human beings. Saber has no desire to be part of this crazy circus act. She may be a servant, but she can't fly through the sky. She might be able to run up along the building's wall, but that's it. This is no better than a free fall for her. She alternates between kicking off from the building before she loses momentum and slowing to let gravity take hold of her. It may be no exaggeration to say she's falling into the sky. Now that she's started, she'll continue all the way up to the rooftop. And in that entire journey, if her opponent hits her, she'll be hurled to the ground. But it seems the laws of gravity do not apply to the enemy. To the opponent, Saber has to defeat. The streak of purple shoots across the side of the building in pursuit of Saber while Saber focuses on reaching the roof. Gravity has no hold on Ryder. She leaps around effortlessly, moving in and from all directions. Up, down, left, right. BBA starts to strike at Saber. Her long hair trails behind her like a comet tail, and she looks like a snake wrapping itself around a log. Saber's feet touch the wall. She leans sideways and kicks the wall, aiming for the edge of the building. Saber suddenly shoots out at a right angle to her previous trajectory. Not one of the attacks finds its mark. Ryder is simply no match for Saber's raw power. Saber shakes Ryder off with a single kick, then kicks upward once again when she reaches the building side. She aims herself upward. If Ryder is like a serpent coiling around the building, Saber's like a bursting spark. But it looks like Ryder might have predicted her moves. The distance between them remains the same. Ryder continues along the side of the building, not letting Saber open any distance between them. She strikes every time Saber has to take a step. Wait, can I get a screenshot of this? There we go. Saber fends off Ryder with her blade and jumps to put some space between them. Though she's able to fend off Ryder's coiling pursuit, there's only so much she can do in the air. Where before there had been no contest in their combat ability, they are now more evenly matched. Neither has an attack that can bring this to a close. No, Ryder is withholding her own deadliest attack. Every time Saber leaps at Ryder, Ryder fends off her attack, but never counterattacks. Ryder's only keeping Saber at bay as she makes her way to the rooftop.
戦う気がないのですか、ライダー。
Saber curses at her cowardly enemy. To a knight like Saber, a fight like this is as good as an insult. Such a thing should involve both opponents giving their all in their clash. By that belief, Ryder's actions are disrespectful.
高いところは苦手のようですね、セイバー。
Ryder's voice is cool. She's right. Saber is clearly not used to fighting in the air. This is probably a first for her, actually. Knights are meant to fight on the solid ground. They're not supposed to cling to walls like her opponent.
自慢の剣もここでは型なしでしょう。けど安心なさい。もうじき楽にしてあげるから。
Ryder moves upward, her manner is inviting. She set this whole thing up. Saber understands that, though. At the end of this circus, yes, Ryder's ideal positioning must be waiting up above. Ryder can't use her trump card so readily, which is why she's luring her prey to a place where there will be no interruptions, so they can settle this with her ultimate attack. As soon as she reaches the roof, she'll be in a difficult position. If Ryder's noble phantasm is exactly what Saber thinks it is, she won't have any defense against it. But there's no turning back now. We just can't ignore Ryder or her master. This isn't about defeating an enemy in the Holy Grail War. Saber must defeat Ryder here and now to protect her master, because she has no other choice. This whole situation must be absolutely dumbfounding for her. She's probably thought more than once about not wanting to push her master to do anything crazy. The two continue gaining altitude. Their rapid clashes ring out across the building as the battle approaches its final destination. Interlude out. Dang! Why does it only go up to the 40th floor? I rush up the stairs while I complain. I manage to enter the building from the back, but the elevator doesn't go all the way to the roof. I have to run up the remaining 10 flights of stairs. I climb the stairs as fast as I can. I'm not sure how long it's been since Saber and I split up. Probably less than 10 minutes, but that's too long. You never know how or when a battle will end. Even Saber's not perfect. She can make a mistake and get into trouble. So before that happens, if I can make Shinji use up his command spells, Ryder might stop fighting. The harder I run, the more my still healing body aches. Sprinting around the building, then up the stairs has left me out of breath. But I don't slow down. No, I speed up. Something about this has me worried. I'm not sure why, but my chest hurts. It's not a physical pain. Something is warning me of danger ahead. Saber can't win. There's something on this rooftop that shouldn't be faced. I try to shake this feeling off and focus on climbing the stairs. The wind is strong. The moment I open the door, the city's nightscape fills my field of vision. Scorch marks mark the concrete. And at its center, at the heart of the burned, scarred rooftop, Saber is on her knees. Saber!
Shirou, どうしてここに?
Saber's shoulders leave with her labored breathing. Or heave with her labored breathing. The moment I rush to her, I notice something strange floating up above me. Or rather, the sheer overwhelming amount of magical energy forces me to take notice. What? I look up towards the sky. Flapping wings, I hear flapping wings. Something, a paler and more blinding white than the light of the moon hovers over me. It is A legendary mystic I've only heard about in myth. The moment she reaches the rooftop, Saber confronts her opponent's true form. Saber leans on her sword, exhausted, and looks up. The white light rushes toward her. Saber unleashes the wind that shrouds her sword, using it to create an invisible barrier. She goes flying backward. Her attempt to block the onrushing Pegasus fails to even slow it down. The force of the impact knocks Saber back, slamming her brutally into the ground. There's no time to be lying down. Pegasus turns midair and resumes its glide without so much as pausing. She can't possibly brace herself. Her only option is to try to evade. Even if she manages that, the after effects of its passage will chip away at her defenses. If this keeps up, it will hit her eventually. The white light streaks down at her. Pegasus sails far overhead and knocks Saber backward before sweeping back into the skies. Saber can't possibly reach it. There are no walls she can kick off of, not up here. Even if she could, there's no way she could actually reach Pegasus. Despite her disadvantage, Saber waits for an opportunity to fight back. Pegasus it may be, but it's still a living creature, so she should still be able to kill it if she can just get a chance. Her only option for victory is if Ryder makes a mistake at the reins.
驚きました。見かけによらず頑丈ですね。あなたは。
Ryder's voice comes from high above. Saber grips her sword tightly as she looks up.
ですが、それに意味はありますか？あなたには勝ち目などない。散るしかないのなら、潔く消えなさい。
Ryder's voice is calm. Even so, I hear just the slightest bit of joy in it.
幻想種だとは睨んでいましたが、まさかそんなものを持ち出してくるとは思いませんでした、ライダー。
A phantasmal species. As the name suggests, it refers to creatures which exist within an illusion. Humanoids like fairies and giants, demonic creatures like Oni and dragons. If they are considered mystics, that alone makes them superior to magecraft. It's the law of nature for mystics to be destroyed by other, stronger mystics. In the same way magecraft grows in power with knowledge, phantasmal species accumulate power from their longevity. Even if a human masters magecraft, the most they can accumulate is about 500 years worth of it. Take a species that's lived since ancient times. There's just no contest between that and a mystic that's only 500 years old. But it's been a long, long time since humans and phantasmals existed in the same world. The longer the phantasmal has lived, the further it's distanced itself from this world. The only phantasmal species in the modern world are a scant few hundred years old. So, Saber expected a phantasmal rider as her mount to be only a few hundred years old.
寝台のものを持ち出すとは、随分と業が深いようですね、ライダー。
ええ、私はあなたたちとは違う。むしろあなたたちの敵だったものに過ぎない。故に私が操るのはあなた。
なるほど。歪んでいるとは思いましたが、英霊ではなく悪鬼の類でしたか、あなたは。
せいぜい呪いなさい。あなたでは私の子に触れることさえできないのだから。
Pegasus, a fantasy. The Pegasus rests its wings in the air. It's a giant arrow aimed at Saber's heart, ready to fire at a moment's notice. She glares at the creature and thinks, Pegasus itself is not a powerful phantasmal species. A typical Pegasus is just a phantasmal that can only match a demonic beast in power. Were that the case, it would be easy to defeat with Saber's invisible air alone. But it isn't the case. That Pegasus has existed since the Age of Gods, and has long since reached the level of a phantasmal. The horse is nearing the level of the dragon race, considered to be the strongest of all phantasmals. At the very least, its defenses are probably already at the level of a dragon race. Since Pegasus possesses divine protection that exceeds even Saber's, whose magic resistance is unparalleled. The way it glides through the air, trailing massive amounts of magical energy, is like a castle wall bearing down on Saber. It can't be possible to avoid or repel something like that. But something else is out here. Ryder simply summoned Pegasus, and it has no true name of its own. To Ryder, Pegasus is little more than, say, a favorite dagger. And that means she has yet to use her noble phantasm. Even in her dire predicament, the possibility of defeat never entered Saber's mind. Instead, she thinks her chance will come when Ryder really starts to get serious. Whatever Ryder's noble phantasm may be, it'll have no trouble destroying a building like this. She just needs to focus on defending herself, on staying alive. Then all she'll have to do is cut Ryder down as soon as an opportunity presents itself. Yes, if only her master hadn't shown up. What? I look up towards the sky. Flapping wings. I hear flapping wings. Something, a paler and more blinding white than the light of the moon, hovers over me. It is a legendary mystic I've only heard about in myth. A Pegasus? The identity of Ryder's noble phantasm. Could that be what scorched the rooftop and forced Saber to her knees? I see that Ryder is, as her name suggests, riding a horse, tearing across the sky. What the? I shift my focus from Ryder. I thought I heard something. Shinji? I know you're here! Come on out! I can't tell how strong Ryder is while she's on the Pegasus. All I can tell is that White Fiend has more magical energy in it, and all I can tell is that White Fiend has more magical energy in it than a few hundred mages could muster. No wonder the roof is a charred mess. That monster can destroy darn near anything around it just by running across it. If that thing charges from up in the sky, even Saber won't be able to avoid it. Quit hiding! I came here like you asked, so show yourself! It's a race against time. I need to defeat Shinji. If I defeat the Master, Ryder will disappear. I hear laughter. Shinji must be hiding from somewhere. Shinji!
見たかエミヤ。これが僕とお前の力の差だ。
Only his voice echoes. I fight down my impatience and try to focus on the sound of his laughter. Dang, the wind's so strong. I can't tell where the laughter's coming from.
残念だったな。格好をつけて余裕ぶってるからこういう目に遭うんだ、マヌケ。殺す時はさ、さっさと殺さなきゃダメだって理解できたかい？
Shinji! Don't rush. Let him talk. Let him talk all he wants. The more he talks, the better chance I have of finding him.
けど僕は違うよ。お前もあのサーバントもここで終わりだ。何？これでも知らない仲じゃない。昨日の借りもあるしさ。せめて苦しまないように一瞬で死んじゃえよ。
This is bad. Pegasus, still high up in the sky, tips his head towards Saber. the vortex of magical energy whirls faster, as if it knows no limit. If that thing comes at us at full speed, it'll blow the entire roof apart.
なーに安心しろエミヤ。お前に邪魔されたけどさ、学校のバカどももすぐに後を追わせてやるよ。お前が寂しいってんなら、くそ鬱陶しいさくらも付き合わせてやろうじゃないか。
Like, Shinji!
やれないだ。まずはその女だ。跡形も残すなよ。
Saber! A white comet streaks toward us. And at that moment, excuse me, a storm rages around me. Saber! For the first time, she forgets her enemy in battle. She's furious with her master for walking into this death trap. But she's also angry with herself for failing to anticipate him doing so. All those thoughts are cast aside now. What else can she do? Even now, even in the midst of danger, she can see only concern for her well-being in his eyes.
Shirou!
He's always been like this, actually. He may have understood that she was an exceptional knight, but that's never how he saw her.
どうやら余興はここまでのようね、セイバー。
Ryder's giggling voice reaches her even now. Ryder touches Pegasus' neck with both her hands, and the beast's wings beat harder.
私の宝具は強力ゆえ、地上で使うには適していない。使えばどうしても人目につく。まだ他にマスターがいる以上、おいけれど、ここなら覗き見される恐れはない。あなたを誘い出したのは、ここでなら都合がいいからと分かりましたか。
Something begins to form in Ryder's hands. It seems insignificant, really. A glittering golden rope.
それが貴様の宝具か、ライダー。
ええ、私の趣味ではありませんが、この子は優しすぎて戦いには向いていない。だからこんなものでも使わないとその気になってくれないの。
I mean, you sure you couldn't use that voice alone to get something in the mood? Pegasus lowers its head. This feral nature is not inborn within the creature itself, but coaxed from it by Ryder's touch.
消えなさい、セイバー。たとえあなたが生き延びようと、あなたのマスターは私からは逃げられない。マスターさえ死ねば、頑丈なあなたもそれまででしょう。
It is the inarguable truth. Ryder's noble phantasm will utterly destroy the roof. If she hurried, she might be able to carry Shirou away and escape, but Ryder won't stop at just destroying the roof. Her master is not strong enough to survive a collapsing building. Meaning, to protect her master, she will have to destroy her enemy, Pegasus and all. She doesn't have time to think about whether this is the right thing to do. Saber glances one final time at her master, still some distance from her. He is doing his best to fill his role simply by gritting his teeth and keeping back.
風よ。
The last of her hesitation fades. What is ahead no longer matters. All that matters is this moment, and in it, she must be her master's blade and defeat the enemy they now face.
やれないだ。まずはその女だ。跡形も残すなよ。
I hear the jarring, grating shout. In that moment, Pegasus ascends higher and vanishes from sight. Pegasus flies up into the air. It's already lost its form. It rises up as if to shoot through the moon, and then continues its arch by flapping its wings, powering itself down toward the ground. The blazing white comet streaks downward. It becomes an arrow, searing white light, but Ryder continues urging it on. There's only one target. It intends to annihilate its enemy entirely, and the isolated garden in the sky along with it.
ベルレ。
speaks his name. If a noble phantasm is the miracle that is released by speaking its true name, it is divine lightning. A thunderous flash. There is no emotion in the eyes as she looks on.
この場所ならば人目につかないと言ったな、ライダー。
The wind unfurls from her blade and becomes a storm.
どうかね、ここなら地上を焼き払う憂いもない。
The seal is broken. Layers of wind unfold from her blade. Her sword is finally visible. A storm rages before my eyes. The white light descends upon the rooftop. Saber, though she is the sole focus of that light, doesn't move. Saber? The raging wind. She's the source. No, not Saber herself. Her sword! Oh yeah, you know what's going down. Huh? I can't believe what I'm seeing. The blade should be invisible, but there it is! Like unwrapping bandages, the wind slowly coils away from her blade. A golden sword? The wind rages on. The multiple layers of seals peel away. The bands of wind dissolve into the air. She readies her now visible sword and turns back towards Pegasus as it dives toward her. Ryder approaches as a brilliant flare of light. Bellerophon is now large enough to engulf the entire rooftop and is only picking up speed to destroy us, building and all. The bridle of chivalry lights up the rooftop. Time stops. In the face of inescapable destruction, my mind goes blank. But the light is not coming from the bride of chivalry. Bridle of chivalry. The light churns and builds upon itself. The light of Ryder's mount is brilliant, but it can't hold a candle to the purity I see in this one. Saber is holding the ultimate sacred sword that has collected the lights of the stars.
Exit!
A single line of brilliant light. It's a blade of light, shearing through everything it touches. The beam of light destroys Ryder utterly as it cleaves through the clouds and disappears into the night sky. Most likely, if that sword had been used on the ground, it would have carved a trail of devastation through the city. Her sword is not unseeable. It simply does not reveal itself. It's the golden sword that captivates all who behold it, with a true name of surpassing fame. Excalibur, the sword of promised victory. A sword that is said to have existed in England. A sword wielded by the king who has become the very symbol of knighthood. The strongest of the servant's noble phantasms, sealed by several bounded fields. That is Saber's proof of her place as a hero. Silence falls over the rooftop. The wind has died down, and not so much as a breeze whispers across the rooftop. I stand, dazed in place. I can't approach Saber. I'm still too confused to act, or maybe I'm just captivated by her sword. My mind is racing, and I can't seem to think of much that makes sense. Why does she have that sword? That golden sword belongs to a famous knightly king. Everyone knows who... As I try to figure out how she came to have something like that, I realize my mind is doing everything it can to deny the simplest of the possible answers. I don't need to be making all these assumptions. That sword's always been hers. And that's why her true name is so easy to figure out. The owner of that sacred sword can have only one name. Or three if you're Sony and insist on a literal if you're Sony and insist on a literal writing of a name that makes more sense when pronounced phonetically. Saber remains motionless where she stands. I should approach her, but my body won't listen. I've been told so many times that Saber is a heroic spirit, but now that I've seen it for myself and she is indeed a great hero of the past, I hesitate to even get closer to her. I hear a shriek. Like one of the girliest shrieks I've ever heard in my life. Something is burning in the shadows. I turn to look. I see a burning book slowly dissolving into a pile of ash and... I see Shinji cringing as he watches the book burn, and I'm cringing just listening to him. Shinji. He must have realized how much trouble he's in now that Ryder has been defeated. And we didn't even learn her name. Is that against, like, Braille War etiquette? Shinji turns and sprints toward the exit from the rooftop. Hey! He leaps through the door to the stairway. Wait, Shinji! I can't let him get away again. The moment I turn to pursue Shinji, just out of the corner of my eye, I see Saber collapse. My mind stops. Shinji is fleeing, and Saber has fallen to the ground. I should... let the prissy coward run. I need to see Saber. I can't leave Saber alone. Ryder's gone, and the book that acted as Shinji's command spells is burned to ash. Shinji doesn't have a servant anymore, and he's lost his command spells. The contest is good as over. Saber is my priority now. Saber! I rush to her. She's not holding the golden sword anymore. It's disappeared, and now there's just Saber lying on the ground. Huh? Saber is in bad shape. Beads of sweat trickle down her brow, and her breathing is shallow, labored. It looks like she's got a fever. No way. Hey, Saber, what's going on? I call out to Saber nervously, but she doesn't respond. She's out cold. Saber? I touch her forehead. It's hot. I jerk my hand away. It's unnaturally hot. She's got to be running a fever of over 40 degrees. Saber, hey, pull yourself together. I call out to her, but her only response is shallow, anguished breathing. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what to do, but I can't just stand around. I'm going to take you home. I'll deal with any complaints later. I lift Saber up. She's so light. I knew that, of course, but now she seems even lighter. No, more than that, she's warm. That means she's still alive. Saber's still the person I've known all this time. I'm ticked with myself for even hesitating. Dang! What's it matter if she's a hero? No matter who Saber is, she's here, and she's still warm. How much of an idiot was I for putting up this wall between us before? We're going home, quick. Just hold still, Saber. I start running, Saber in my arms. There's no sense of triumph from this victory. All I feel is Saber in my arms, barely breathing.
和室に寝かせてきたけど、あの分じゃしばらく目を覚まさないでしょうね。
Thanks for taking a look. I wouldn't have been able to treat Saber.
まあ、鎧を脱がせて楽にさせただけだから、お礼を言われるほどじゃないわ。セイバーの体も良くならないし、私は何もしてないもの。
But still, I'm glad Tosaka was here. The moment I arrived home carrying Saber, Tosaka understood what was going on. It's been an hour. She tried telling Saber what she was going to do, then took her armor off.
それで何があったの？シンジを探しに行って帰ってきたと思ったらセイバーがあれでしょ。一波乱あったのはわかるけど説明してくれないかしら。
She totally fried Ryder's tail! I don't know how to explain. Saber's noble phantasm. I shouldn't disclose her true name. I can't decide on my own to reveal that. Ryder's been defeated. Shinji lost his command spells and dropped out, but Saber used her noble phantasm, then collapsed right after.
セイバーの宝具ね。まあ追求するのは勘弁してあげるわ。今のあなたたちはそれどころじゃないものね。
Why? What do you mean, the least of my concerns?
言葉通りの意味よ。あなただってうすうすは気づいているんでしょ。このままじゃセイバーが消えるってことぐらい。
What? She says it so calmly. Tosaka just barely casually brings up the one thing I've been trying so hard to avoid. Disappear? You mean you're saying Saber's going to disappear?
当然でしょ。セイバーの魔力はほとんど空っぽなのよ。セイバーの宝具がどんなものだったかは知らないけど、よっぽど魔力を使うものだったんでしょうね。セイバーは自分の中の魔力をほぼ消費してしまった。今彼女が苦しんでいるのはね、消えようとしている自分を必死に留めているからよ。
She's going to disappear because she doesn't have magical energy? So you're saying that Saber's going to disappear even though she's not hurt?
ええ、サーバントにとっては外的ダメージより魔力切れの方が深刻な問題よ。霊体であるサーバントに肉体を与えているのは魔力だもの。それがなくなれば消えるしかない。もっともそんなことにならないようにマスターはサーバントに魔力を送るんだけど、あなたはそれができないでしょ。だからセイバーは自分の魔力だけで戦うしかない。切れたらそれまでよ。こんなこと一番初めに説明したでしょ。
That is definitely what Saber said. She was fine before, and Saber said she could recover if she slept.
それはセイバーの魔力量が桁外れだったからよ。そうね、確かにセイバーの魔力はまだ残ってる。彼女ならまだ消えずに肉体を保つぐらいの魔力は回復できるとは思う。けど結局はそこ止まりよ。セイバーはずっと今の状態で戦うことになる。宝具を使うなんてもってのほか。次に宝具を使えばセイバーは間違いなく消え去るでしょうね。
She'll disappear if she uses her noble phantasm. Well, I wouldn't want Saber fighting like this at all. I don't ever want to see Saber on her knees in that kind of pain again.
理解できた？結局セイバーを以前の状態に戻す方法は2つだけよ。マスターがサーバントに魔力を提供するか、サーバントが自分で魔力を補充するか。
A servant collecting it themselves. That would mean killing innocent people like Ryder. That's impossible. Saber would never do that. She said herself that she'd never do such a thing.
でしょうね。一般人を犠牲にするぐらいならセイバーは潔く消えるでしょう。なら方法は一つだけよ。セイバーを消したくないのならあなたが魔力を提供するしかないわ。
If I could, I would have done that a long time ago. But I don't know how to give her magical energy. I can't do everything you can.
まあね、 共有の魔術を教えてあげても間に合わない。シローは魔術師に向いてないから覚えるのに1年ぐらいかかるだろうし、覚えたところで使えないわ。まあ召喚時にセイバーとパスは通っているはずだから、まだ他に方法があるかもしれないけど。いい？セイバーを助けたいのなら彼女自身に人を吸わせて魂を食べさせるしかない。それはあなたにも分かってると思うけど。
That's the most realistic method. But it's...
もちろんセイバーは嫌がるでしょ。けど放っておけば遅かれ早かれセイバーは消えて、あなたは他のマスターから狙われることになる。
Saber's going to disappear? I can't even consider that. I still remember the warmth of her body when I was carrying her.
なら答えは一つよ。霊樹を使いなさい、エミヤ君。それで最悪の事態は避けられる。
What she's trying to say is, I need to order Saber to kill innocent people. I can't say anything. I resent what Tosaka is saying, but there's a part of me that has to admit it could be one of our options.
決断はあなたに任せるわ。セイバーは眠らせておけば落ち着くだろうけど、それでも限界は近いでしょうね。
Tosaka leaves the living room. I can't even lift my head. All I can do is listen to the sound of her footsteps receding down the hall. All right, and we will call it there for tonight. I hope you're enjoying the stream. Let me know how I can make it better. So have a good night.